Good evening and salutations, all my lovely internet people out there on, to hear there tonight. And welcome. I don't know. I had something planned, and just like everything, make the plan, execute the plan. Plan goes off the rails, throw away the plan. And that is how most things work here at BC WrestlePod, honestly.
We're
But
just
hey,
waiting for profit to happen.
yes, profit. Please give us the moolah. But hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Progressives, your Progress Wrestling post show breakdown crew here at BC WrestlePod. I am one of your hosts, Mikey. I am El Jefe of BC WrestlePod. Not only do I run the ones and twos, but I also teach the three, the fours, the fives, and the sixes because I am a bard, essentially. I am a jack of all trades, master of none, with the exception of one. And so I see what you did there. And joining me this, and of course, joining me this evening, he is a longtime friend, a longtime caller, if you really will. But no, this is the day one. This is the OG. He is the man that started this all, quite frankly, honestly, and he
No,
gave
you
me the
did
blessing.
too. Come on.
Listen, it was both of us. You had the idea, and you gave me the blessing to turn it into what it is now. But to Mr. Simon Miller, High Life JBL is in the house.
Well, I'm glad to be here. You've turned me on to progress and all the other great things, and I just can't stay away anymore. I've done more in the last 2 weeks on this podcast than I had in years.
Honestly, that's crazy. And also, welcome to my life every single week. Just kidding.
Oh, we know. I couldn't leave you alone tonight with everybody else. Everyone else has life getting in the way. I'm here to help Mikey.
They are literally, one of them is literally down with the sickness, and one of them is working tech week as well. Lots of people doing tech week this week.
It's kind of the time of year for it, but also that's a down with the sickness thing too. I'm just in a part of my life where I would also be in tech if I was in another part of my life. So
That is very true. But we are here tonight to cover chapter 191 for the love of progress 4, which I guess the best way to describe it is it's kind of like a taped house show if you really want to. I mean, we
you
did
could
progress
tell
some
that
stuff,
from the camera angles. I mean, seriously.
but this is why, and I have beef with this episode. I have beef progress, and this is where my beef lies. We're going to say it now, and we're going to get
Do
it
it.
out of the way, and
Do
then,
it.
but really quickly, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, BC WrestlePod on the social medias, merch at BC, our shop, BC WrestlePod shop.fourthwall.com. We have a coffee bot because we pay for a lot of services. If you feel like donating, you can, but no pressure because we know think times are crazy.
We're just happy
Now
to
let's
see
get
you here
into,
today.
yes, exactly. And we're happy that you're here. Alrighty. So now let me get into my beef with this episode.
Beef.
My beef with this episode is, you know what? I don't mind just having 6 matches. They were all pretty solid. We're gonna talk about a couple of them, but here's where my
Right.
beef is. Why is it that when we're on the road, we have better mic quality and we can actually hear what the hell is happening than when we do it in an electric ballroom? It's not by much, but it's definitely a lot better than electric ballroom. And I'm like, really, guys, this is what we have to do here.
It is and it isn't. I think that they learned their lesson from the last one where they're just kind of like, we need to have like 4 different backups for things that are going on. But you're right. Like, the quality wise, I could kind of understand most of the promos and what was going on in commentary on this one, which was nice.
Which is very, very true, which I appreciate because I was like, thank God that commentary did not break my speakers on my monitor.
Can I express my beef with this one?
Go for it. Express your beef.
Did Progress, I'm saying the British way as they say it anyways, but did Progress hire Kevin Dunn to do their editing on this one? Because there were so many crash cuts and like random things shot in the dark. I was like, holy crap, I'm watching, the Fed in the 90s.
I also saw that and I was just like, what happened? Like, what is going on, you guys? I don't understand.
Session Moth Martina was in the dark the entire way down to the ring. It was like, come on, guys. Come on.
It's really crazy. Also, Progress, I love you, but can we get these match cards in like 16 by 9 like format, please? But hey, I'm
Uh,
really proud of
at
yeah.
least you have match cards. Mystery Wrestling, you barely have anything, so don't complain.
That is very true. Hey, but you know what? I'm damn proud of making our own graphics for our
Oh, I
shows,
love them. They
honestly.
look better than some of these. They're great.
It is so fantastic. Also, I may or may not have cried a little bit because MJF can no longer appear at Mystery Wrestling
I'm
23.
honestly wondering what this entire like thing is where he's just had a conflict come out of nowhere. The only thing I can think is maybe there's some reshoots on something he's in that he's got to be doing, or if that's not it, then something with Tony Khan where I think with having Revolution, he may not be able to make it because of just how dangerous that match could be.
Really true, especially, spoiler alert, it is going to be Texas Death at Revolution.
We'll talk about next week
We'll talk about it next
on.
week. I'm
Oh my
also,
god, that was just so bad.
it's going to be nuts. And I was just like, I feel like this match doesn't need to be it, but also I'm kind of excited because Mama Laguillo has never seen Texas Death, but I do need to prepare her really quickly though for that one. I'm like, this is gonna get
But that's for
crazy.
the AEW podcast. So we'll talk
Yeah,
about
that's
an
for
AEW
AEW.
podcast next week.
All right, so let's get into this. So, for the Love of Progress 4 is basically a glorified house show, but it is okay because it does have a lot of people I do likes, and we did progress some stuff leading
Mm-hmm.
into the next couple of chapters. So let's just jump straight into it. So we
For
kick
Splash.
things, yeah. So we kick things off, which would initially leading into the event just started out as a regular tag team match. But then, as we got closer to the event, we learned that this became a number one contenders match for the Progress Tag Team Championship. So the winning team will get a future shot at the titles that, is currently being held by Diamond Eyes, which is exciting. And then when I saw who was fighting for it, I was like, oh God, this is going to be a lot of fun. So, of course, this number one contenders match, we saw Sanity, which is the team of, Big Damo, who we love, the beast from Belfast. We love him so much. I love him, and so does Will. And Axel Tischel taking on the Young Guns, which, of course, is Luke Jacobs and Ethan Allen. So I'm like, oh, man, we're about to have some fun with this match.
I couldn't keep hearing his name though, Ethan Allen, every time, having been a resident in Vermont for so long. I'm like, wait a second. No, 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 no one knows that name. That can't be a reference to the Green Mountain Boys and that stuff, and it's not. But it kind of tinged that in my little brain there for a bit, and I couldn't get past it.
Yeah, it's it's definitely a lot of fun. Now, of course, it has been a minute since we have seen Ethan Allen and Luke Jacobs in Progress. The last time we really saw Luke Jacobs was when he lost the Progress Men's World Championship to a man like Derice back in the summer in that crazy TLC match, which was nuts to watch. And about that same time, that was the last time we also kind of saw Ethan Allen as well. So it's no secret, anybody who knows all the British wrestling, these two are also a part of Rev Pro. So it's not like they weren't working, they were on the Rev Pro shows, and now they're back here in Progress. Also, I'm really happy to see that Big Damo is still coming back to Progress. I thought it was just going to be a one-off after he had, he closed the chapter with Spike Trevay in that match
Whew.
that they had in Darkest Night, which was fantastic. And also really nice to continue to see Axel Tischel as well. One of the
Crowd was
longest
in,
great. Yeah.
crowd was into it. They were so happy to see Sanity, and Axel was getting a great welcome there. It was fun to see how the match started with really the crowd being behind Sanity more than the Young Guns as they were coming through.
Oh, absolutely. I was just like, yeah, this is great. But of course, I was just like, I'm giving it a couple of minutes, and then sure enough, the crowd began to become split between Sanity and the Young Guns because I'm gonna be completely honest. Ethan Allen's really good, but Luke Jacobs is fantastic. I think he's really, really solid, and he definitely. I would put him as part of this current generation of British wrestlers to be like, yeah, this kid's gonna go a lot far. He's gonna go really, really far.
Well, and he's gone far already. Like he's
Mhm.
building a resume and has been for years. So this is amazing to watch. And Tischel, my God, like Damo was pretty all over the map. Tischel was giving to these guys. He like put his body everywhere just to make them look so spectacular.
100%. And I really do appreciate that they still are going by Sanity because, like, we have seen multiple iterations in different promotions, from NXT. We also had a brief stint of them possibly coming to Lucha Underground when that was airing too. It's been a long road, but Damo, Axel Tischel, and then of course currently TNA Eric Young are still Sanity. So I'm like, you know what? You can never go wrong with those three. This was a really, really fun match. I had a fun one, and honestly, I think this was a very smart way to open up for the Love of Progress 4. And like you said, yeah, Axel, I'm just like, please come back. I love you both, but please come back. Like Axel is
But
great.
but Axel eats the pin, and the Young Guns end up getting a number one contendership against Diamond Eyes. And the commentary was starting to be out like Diamond Eyes, yes, Sanity is imposing, but they are afraid of the Young Guns, and I can see why.
It's gonna be really fun whenever whichever chapter they decide to do that tag team championship match, because I feel like in terms of like Diamond Eyes and Young Guns, they are the kind of on opposite ends but of the same coin. They're all younger talent, so to speak. And then of course with the Young Guns, it's gonna be Ethan Allen and Luke Jacobs. But then whenever they get this shot, we don't know which combination of Diamond Eyes they're going to get. Are we going to get, our regular boys? Is, Jay Joshua going to be a part of the mix? Like, I'm very interested to see when we get this match, and I'm looking forward to it. And you know what? More Young Guns on my Progress television screen. I'm not going to complain. But this was a really fun way to open the show. And then we get into our second match, which, you know what?
Oh, well, I couldn't tell whether that was Gene Money or Koga for quite a bit as he was entering. I just couldn't deal with it.
Right. It's crazy because of how much they are twins and they're twinning. We love to
Mm-hmm.
see it. I will say though, when I saw that this match was happening, I was like, I'm kind of actually excited to see Koga actually get a one-on-one match and just have him do him. And Koga is taking okay, let's just call it out. Like Sam Bailey, like the entrance song was already a vibe. I was just like, oh
Yeah.
Lord, here we go. And just this character, I'm like, what is this? This looks like a Mac. This is like the OG Max Caster, but the UK version of it. I was just like, Max Caster, is that you?
Mixed with a little bit of Serena D being the coach too. Like you knew it was going to be a big thing. But I have to jump ahead to this. Koga, yeah, the reason I laughed is because Koga getting a one-on-one match, he got maybe 5 to 7 minutes into the match, and Session Moth Martina just interrupts in the middle of it.
I'm like, Session, what are we doing, girl? I was like, what is happening? But nah. And I was just like, you just can't see him win. Like, what is happening? Like, ruined it, but not like in that like way it's supposed to. Like, oh, you really took my enjoyment out of this match. I was like, damn, you're just like an overbearing stage mom. Let the boy shine. Damn.
But she doesn't want to. I think there's a whole like undercurrent running here. Like she's taking out her frustration that she has at like Gene Money right now on Koga as like the redheaded stepchild, because if he starts winning, then he would be the only one in the group other than Saxon at this point, who's cousin Saxon, who has won. Cesar Martina hasn't won in a while. At least she hadn't won for quite a bit. But we'll get to that after this.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that in a little bit. But you know what? I despite all the shenanigans and the tomfoolery that was with Session Moth coming in, I have to say I do like Koga's wrestling style, and it was really fun to see him incorporate some of his martial arts as well into it, especially with those kicks. I'm like, damn. Um, I couldn't stop laughing at Sam Bailey. I was just like, but like not in a bad way. I was just like, this whole character is stupid, but I love it.
He had the right setup to make Koga look like a complete and utter like strong man the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Although I would love to see at this point, because they've been really like, I guess part of Koga's excursion here is that he's got to learn how to be comedic. He can't be serious all the time, or how to be the straight man. I see him once he's done with excursion going to like DDT and having a run there for no good reason other than just to really cement home that he's a comedy wrestler. And then they stick him back in Noah, or he goes over to NGPW and like works with House of Pain, House of Torture. Like just random
That would be
ways.
now, if we're gonna send him to DDP, I think the perfect person for Koga to work, or because in my personal opinion, who I think has a good balance of being a fantastic wrestler but also
Mm-hmm.
being funny as hell, is Mao. I think Mao is so fucking fantastic. Like I got lucky when this past summer when Adolfo and I covered the best of the Super Junior, because Mao was in my bracket that I decided to review. But and he was hilarious. Like he's a fantastic wrestler. And then of course
Yeah.
the final match in the tournament against House of Torture, we got a DDT style match where he literally ran over, you know, Ren Narita with a bike, and then he got ran over with a van. I was just like, oh, so Mal
And
would
you
be a perfect person.
and you think Clark Connors with Tire Son is the only one that can run people over with good tires? No, we know what Mao can do. But this was a pretty good match. Session Moth Martina ends up costing him, though, the win, which kind of annoys me, but I see it as moving the storyline along.
Very, very true. And I also was just like, damn, Session Moth, we can't let Koga have a moment. Why?
No, so she puts him on the naughty step.
That was hilarious to me. I was just like, you just put this kid in timeout. What is happening? It's like, what are we, 5?
He is when he listens to Mother, apparently.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, Session Moth, call me mother. So this was a fun match. This was shenanigans. Sam Bailey wins this match due to Session Moth not letting our boy Koga get a win, and it was poor Koga. I was just like, I love you, but I was like, damn. But I love this whole undercurrent. This is such fun storytelling and
He's
just
playing
different.
it so very well. I love it.
And he kept going with it too into the next match because Session Moth is out here, and lo and behold, she has her match coming up next, which is for the PWC Ladies Championship. So Session Moth Martina challenging Melissa Fierce for the title. Melissa doesn't even get like a step in the ring before Session Moth just goes full crazy on her and just starts beating
Yeah.
her up.
Oh my
And this was
gosh.
also shenanigans because like Session Moth is trying to tell Koga to help her and tell her him what to do. And technically he does it, but it backfires because he's like, oh, I'm doing what you're asking me to, but in like that weird comedic Japanese, like that weird comedic style. It's like, oh, okay, like this, and then
Oh,
bam, it backfires.
it was malicious compliance the entire time. He was
Mm-hmm.
doing exactly what he was told, and Seshamoth forgot that she wasn't specific enough. I also love when he caught Melissa and was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, how are you? Very nice to see you here." And then Seshamoth's like, "No," and then she jumps over and wants to be caught by Koga, and then pulls Koga up is like yelling at him so that Melissa can run off and do a cannonball off the apron. It's so good.
This was just such nonsense, but like in the best way possible.
And Session Moth was selling like hell for her. She was going all over like bell to post, pillar to post, everywhere around there, uh, trying everything she could to get Koga to help her cheat, including giving her a hydration break with the beer in the middle of the match.
I could not. I was dying. I was just like, oh my goodness. I was having a blast. I was having a key,
Well,
as the kids say.
so was Session Moth, but she was setting up something a little more nefarious, right there, Mikey?
Yeah, because I was just like, oh, damn, here we go. Because, like, towards the tail end of this, I was just like, and there it is. We're getting
Mm-hmm.
ready for this. And unfortunately, malicious compliance shows full effect. Koga, unfortunately, does end up helping Session Moth win this title. So I was like, damn, Koga, we were close. But you know what? It was fun.
Well, and what Sechimoth did, I mean, between the fact like she had the beer, she got a mouthful of it. The ref tried to take it away, spilled a bunch, slipped on it, hit his head, slipped again. Like perfect at taking bumps that way, like doing those pratfalls. Gets the beer out of the way so that she can use it like the mist and get
Gosh.
Melissa in the face.
I was like, damn, Melissa, I feel for you, girl. You were so close. But
Well,
in
and then
Session Moth,
she took the bump, and do you see how she crumpled? Her neck was
yeah,
like this.
I was just like, listen, I'm like, Progress, do we have like theater people backstage? Because like, how are we teaching these people like how to fall properly? Because I'm like,
Well,
this is tea.
no, and then I thought she was injured because Seshmoth couldn't get her over. She like couldn't figure out how to pin her. You could see like a couple different times she's like trying to roll this way, trying to roll that way. It's not really working. So she spins on her butt to go to a normal pin. I could tell in that moment it's like, oh crap, did I break her? No, she's okay. What? Just pin her, get her out of the way.
Like, do it right now. And so
But
your winner
yeah.
and new PWC Ladies Champion, Session Moth Martina.
How is Cousin Saxon going to take this now? Because his Gene Money has his title, Seshamoth has a title. If Koga wins one before Saxon,
We're gonna see some implosion, and it is going to be fantastic. But lo and behold, this is not the only championship that Session Moth is going to be challenging for here coming up very soon because a certain Eve Battle Girls Riot is happening very soon. And she's going to be challenging Rio for the championship because she won that battle royale to challenge her for it. And I'm like,
Shenanigans.
And the crazy thing is that Eve battle girls, right? Like Session is the face and Rio's the heel, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is about to be good.
Yeah.
Also, Charlie, I can't wait to see you. God, we got to figure out. We got to finalize who's going to be on the crew for that one. Like, it's going to be
yeah.
fantastic. But shenanigans aside, PWC Ladies Champion Session Moth Martina, and I'm excited to see how much the family is going to continue to have some infighting. It's going to be great. So we move on from this match, and so far I was like, okay, these three matches were fun. Like was having a good time. I was like, you know what? This is good. Like I don't really have anything too crazy to say. God, well, hang on. I accidentally clicked it because I want to get these boys their medal first before we get into the ladies. But
Very much so, yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, I feel like I'm watching their rivalry all over again. Hot damn.
Well, and for someone who didn't know anything about this, that Spike Trey was the one that actually unmasked Kid Lycos, and so there's a
Mm-hmm.
whole, and now, and even the commentary was like, the crowd is behind Spike Trevay. What is wrong with the world?
I was like, let me tell you what's wrong with the world. Nothing. In terms of wrestling, because I was like, Spike was going to get his comeuppance because Kid Lyko still got beef with him. But it's very interesting to see. I don't even want to say Spike Trevay is a full face, but the roles are definitely reversed here.
Well, because Kid Lycos has been really playing up, like going down that heel route, especially with the metal arm pad that he's got going on. Also, what does that small piece of fabric do to stop that metal arm pad from being a
I was
weapon?
about
I
to say,
don't
okay,
get
let's
that.
let's talk about that for a little bit because I'm like, listen, I'm not a theater person, but I'm like, if we're gonna have props like we do with that elbow pad, I was just like, you gotta make me actually believe that like, oh, he's not allowed to use it. Obviously, he can't take it off because that's gonna cause even further injury, quote unquote, in kayfabe, right? But I'm like,
Very, very D'Lo Brown there, but yes.
I was just like, and when I saw how it was wrapped up, I was like, I'm not a medical expert, but I'm pretty sure that I can do a better job.
You can, and I mean that specific arm guard as well as like an American football one that you see like when people have arm surgery on there, and it's super padded to be soft. It's not meant to be metal. So I don't know where they get this metal plate from or like what they're doing with it, other than if he's loading it with like a hammer or something. But he's using that Lex Luger rule where it's a metal arm thing he can't use. But then if I put this piece of athletic tape over it, apparently it neutralizes the metal that's in there.
And I think that's the only complaint I have about this match is because of Kid Lyco's using it against Spike Trevay and then him kind of fumbling with trying to wrap it back up. I was just like, we were
The
getting
ref
caught in
looked
it.
directly at him when
That's
Bullet
the
came
other
out. The
part
ref looked
too.
right back at him.
I was just like, listen, Progress, you're usually pretty good with your refs, like making it believable. Like to quote Andrew, the refs they'll so far this year have made every DQ and everything believable, and it's like they're actually smart characters. They're not just like place fillers and people to take bumps. But I'm like, you literally were staring at it. What happened?
Well, and he on camera, you saw him turn, see it, go, oh no, turn back around to look at Bullet, and then he's trying to get a view of like where he needs to be. So he keeps looking back. It's like, oh, dude, you missed your cue. And on the fact also, Kid Light goes, you're working with a very unwieldy prop. It's not serving you. I think there needs to be some sort of thing that needs to be done about this because it's just not working. But the match itself, these two knew each other very well. They took each other apart on many different levels. Spike Trevay, God, like I've never seen him before. So seeing him work this way, and I know that I need to go back and watch more of his stuff, was incredible. And when you have a guy like Kid Lycos up against, I mean, you can't go wrong.
100%. This was so much fun. I had a freaking blast with this one.
Except for the ending.
Except for the ending. But you know what? And you know what? Progress posted on their social media that after like 478 something days, like Kid Legos finally got revenge on Spike Gervais. I'm like, holy shit, it's been that long? Damn. I was
Well, it's
like,
been
what?
that long for everybody he's taken on so far. Every one of his matches since in Darkest Night has been over 300, almost over 400 days since he was injured and then left. Like it's not surprising, but I love that there's been enough time that he can go through the cast of characters again, gain momentum, and it's not the same matches we've seen. That's great.
No, I 100% agree with you. And again, I do like that we are continuing to build up to whatever this match between Bullet and Spike is going to be. And Kid Lycos is going to have his own journey because, like we found out over the last couple of weeks, Kid Lycos is going to be challenging Derice at Cause and Effect in March for that Progress Men's World Championship. And so I'm
And
very
I'm
interested.
not sure whether who's going to come out on that one either, because like Darius has been fine, like great champion, he's doing great things, he's being all around, but Lycos has got some weird momentum on him right now because he's not loved by anybody in that building to the point, and it's not like X Pac, like he's definitely being booed for being a dipshit.
Kid Lycos is being a dick, is basically what it is.
Yeah,
And you know
Dick
what?
Lycos,
Dick Lycos. Yes, love that.
otherwise known as Dick Liquor.
That's a whole nother conversation.
That's a
Anywho,
different Fed completely, but yes.
be like, tune in for the After Hours podcast.
Hi, I'm Dick Lycos.
Yes, we love to see it. But Kid Lycos does speak Spike Treve with the help from, Elbow Pads on. And both men are moving towards different directions. Bullet and Spike are going to collide in some capacity, and then Kid Lycos and Derice are going to be, going at it in March at Cause in Effect. So we get into our semi-final match, the semi-main event, if you will. I'm also going to do one of these because,
Oh yeah,
personal
oh yeah.
standing here.
I stand as well. I have been jumped on by one of these competitors.
We love it. So this is a women's super strong style 16 first round match. And this, of course, sees Progress's own the mean girl of Progress, Lana Austin, who is being accompanied to the ring by Harley Harlow, who I love dearly. This quasi toxic friendship is crazy to watch, but it's entertaining.
It's
And then, of course,
so codependent. It's so funny.
it's so funny. But then, Lana is taking on the ballsy badass herself, and friend in our hearts, uh, Shotzi Blackheart, who we love dearly in this freaking household. And you know
And
what?
oh,
Is I was so happy because the last time to kind of give a little bit of info, the last time we saw Shotzi, she still had her cast on her arm when she was wrestling with a broken arm. So now for her to be able to wrestle fully without the cast was beautiful to watch, and I was not disappointed.
when I saw her live and she was over at Green Mountain Wrestling, she also had the cast off, and it was so great to see her moving around a lot better and not like favoring it. This was cool. It went up and down the ramp. Oh god, the drops on the stage were nasty. Lana Austin was getting cheered in this room. Like that was hysterical.
It was fantastic, and I think, and I'm not saying it's because of. I think since pairing Harley Barlow and Lana together has kind of created this like Lana doesn't like her, but she's also like kind of like her because she's not fully like telling her to go away. It's very like you said, it's very codependent. And it's funny to watch. But honestly, I was just like, bias aside, I was just like, how dare you boo Shotzi? But honestly, I kind of understand that because it's the same way in CMLL when you have the AEW folks or any of the other international, like North American folks, like from the States, or even like we saw this past week, our Canadian champions of MLP. The home
Mm-hmm.
crowd is going to root for the crowd in Mexico. So it's just like, makes sense that the UK crowd would, cheer for their hometown girl. But damn,
Yeah.
this match was a lot of fun. Again, the fighting in the ramp, the chair shots. I was like, what is this, GCW? What are we doing?
It
Like,
basically was.
I was just like, it was just really fun. And honestly, these two had some really fun spots together. They had some really fantastic chemistry. And of course, burying the lead here a little bit, I'm really happy to see Shotzi win and go on to the next round. So I'm excited. I'm just, with everything that has happened so far, I don't know what this next round match would look like, but based on styles, I would love to see a Shotzi versus Kanji matchup in the next round because
Ooh, oh my god, a technical grappler who can bend you seven ways to Sunday and a brawler. That would be so much fun.
I'm just like, I'm looking forward to May when we get the 2 days of super strong styles, 16 for the men and the women. And I'm so excited to not only see our progress talent, but like they really are having qualifying matches around the world. So I'm excited to start seeing like international talent be coming over too. And I think that's why I really enjoyed it last year because it not only gave me my favorites in progress, because we also saw like Michael Oku participate, Leon Slater participate. But then we got to see international stars like Zazaya from Spain, Kudo from France. Like, I cannot wait. And I'm excited to see what the next round waits for Shotzi. But I'm also excited too because Lana is going to be accompanying Harley Barlow at her qualifying match at Cause and Effect. And Holly has her work cut out for her for that her match too because
Oh yes.
I'm like, oh my good golly gosh, girl. I was just like, Holly, I love you, but we need to get it together, girl, because you are going to be taking on Emerson Jane, and she do not play.
No, not at all. That's going to be hard hitting. I can't wait to see that one either.
Lord have mercy. Cause and Effect is shaping up to be really fun, and we're going to talk a little bit about that at the very end of this show
Right, right.
because that is what's coming up next. But let's get into this main event. And what better way to end the show with a really fun 3-on-3 match? We get the team of man like Derice, our lovable carny individual, Charles Crowley, and our favorite bald person on the internet, Simon Miller. God, what
Who
a
is
team of
having
three.
God having the time of his life dancing with everybody up there. I love
Oh my
seeing all
god, we're
three of
gonna
these
talk.
guys
We're gonna
together.
talk about that in a little bit because when I found that video, I'm like, and saved. Like, and they were taking on the team of Saxon Huxley, Bullet, and representing, Pro Wrestling Noah as well in Jack Morris. So Jack is coming back from Pro Wrestling Noah. He participated in Super Strong Style last year, and he popped in for a couple other shows as well. But yeah, when I found the video of Charles and Simon dancing to Derice's music as he was making his 20-minute entrance, like that was the highlight of my week. And I was just like, this is why I love wrestling.
Taking advantage of the room, making sure everyone was happy, really eating it up. And the heels all sitting there just like bored off their ass and pissed off. It's what you wanted. It was so much fun. And the match itself still held up to it because the styles really were fun. Seeing Bullet and Simon Miller go at it was interesting. I want to see more of that in like some strong style match down the road.
Which would be really fun because I'm trying to remember if I'm remembering correctly. Simon and Bullet went at it first round, and unfortunately, Simon lost to Bullet in the first round of last year's Super Strong Style 16. I could be wrong though. I got to look it up, but I would love for them to go at it again because it also seems that Simon has kind of, for now, put to bed his feud with Josh Hawley. That feud seems to be the chapter is done for now. So whatever, I'm excited to see what's next for Simon and whatever comes next for him, which I hope is very, very soon. I want to see a Simon Miller in the super. Well, I mean, he's in the next round because he beat Josh
He
Hawley
moved
to
on.
move on to
Yeah,
the
he
next
moved on.
round. So I'm very interested to see who Simon faces next.
I'm also a little disappointed that Saxon Huxley comes out and we have no family with him, no Session Moth coming out with her new title. Not like, come on,
I was
they
like,
had it
y'all are
right
still.
there.
I'm like, y'all are still in the building, unless they play up that Session Moth is kind of now like abandoning him already. I was just
After
like,
one chapter, yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Sometimes it'd be like that. Um, no, I had a blast watching everyone work. They all worked very, very well. And again, like this is the term I use for CMLL, but I have to quote our unofficial virtual co-host, Primo Agent Lo-Fi is his screen name.
Mm-hmm.
He has coined the term. This was the match to send the crowd happy home match. So of course you send the crowd home happy by having the baby faces win. And so after a fun back and forth, it ultimately would be Derice, Charles, and Simon to pick up the win over the quote unquote heels.
And then have a dance party on the way out.
Oh my gosh. Yes, more dance parties in wrestling, please. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a way to send the crowd home happy. And you know what? For about a 2-hour show, I had a good time watching for the love of progress 4. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a great change of pace, and it, like you said, it was a glorified house show for the most part. That's why we had all the fun stuff happening here, both from the production value and from the way it was done. But you know what? It still was way more fun than most of the bigger Feds house shows they have because there were some stakes for this. It was great.
No, and it does lead into like the electric ballroom shows coming up. Like we talked about at the first match, Young Guns are getting a future championship match against Diamond Eyes at some point. And also, this was to build momentum for a lot of our folks coming into Cause and Effect. So let's talk about that, shall we? So, of course, we're at the end of for the Love and Progress 4, but we have a lot. They announced a couple of matches already. The
Right.
first one is not necessarily for cause and effect, but we will be back in Manchester in June because during the show
Manchester.
Manchester because they announced that for chapter 195 they would be back in Manchester Sunday, June 7th for Wonder Brawl 2, and I'm like, "Oh my god. I love the puns. It's great." So I'm
Mm.
like, "Oh man, Wonder Brawl 2. Are we about to see a lot of fighting? Because I want to see a lot of fighting. Let people fight. It's great." So that was announced during the show. But we have a lot of things coming up. So the next time we'll be back with a progress review or a post show breakdown won't be until the beginning of April because the next chapter takes place Sunday, March 29th. So we have a good long month, which is
Whew.
crazy, but it's understandable. But before that, um, Progress is going to be busy during the spring because as soon as chapter 192 is over, then we get the Vegas show for Progress, during,
Mm.
Mania week. And then we have we have so much Progress stuff happening in April. And
They're
then,
they are growing and taking up space that they really needed to. I'm so glad to see them getting bigger and bigger.
no, 100%. But let's go over cause and effect. So, again, cause and effect is chapter 192. That is happening Sunday, March 29th. And let's go over some of these matches that got announced, right?
Mm.
So, as a bonus match, which is probably going to be taped before the actual show airs, we are getting Koga versus Kid Lycos 2. And I'm like, damn, why can't we see it?
Please, that should be on the main card.
Honestly, please give it to me now. I want to see it. Or at least upload it on a YouTube or something because I want to see it, right?
Yeah.
But we have a cup. But here are the matches that we have officially announced for the main card, so to speak. So I want to start off with, of course, like we talked about, we have our Progress Men's World Title match between man like Derice and Kid Lycos. So I'm very honestly right now, I love Derice. I truly do. But I'm right now I'm 50-50 because I can make an argument as to why Derice should retain, but I can also make an argument for Kid Lycos to
Kid
win
Lycos would
too.
be such an insufferable dipshit if he gets that title.
Honestly, but it would also be great. But speaking of championship matches, the wicked bitch of wrestling herself, that is what she calls herself, not me. So I don't want people coming after me for saying it. But Alexis Falcon is defending the Progress Women's World title against Mercedes Martinez. And I'm just like, yes.
You can do no wrong there. You really can do no wrong.
God, Mercedes is out here. She announced at the beginning of this year, this will be her final year as a professional wrestler, in ring wise. And you know what? Alexis versus Mercedes is going to be fantastic. And I
Mm.
cannot wait. We also talked about this, but we are getting another women's super strong style 16 first round match. And that is going to be Emerson Jane versus Holly Barlow with Lana Austin in tow.
Dang.
I I love Emerson. I would love to see her move on, but how funny it would be for Holly to win
Oh
her
my
first round match.
god, and let Lana just eat it up. Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
She'd be like, "I'm so happy for you." Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like gritting her teeth the whole way through. Oh my goodness. It would be fantastic. And then just recently announced as of 9 hours ago. So this is recently today because we were told that Charles Crowley was going to be in action in some capacity, but I have to say a prayer for Charles Crowley because it is him versus Cara Noir. And I'm just like, oh Lord, the Black Swan is back, and I feel like him and Jerry still have some unfinished business.
Yeah, but the theatrics of that entire thing too, between him and Crowley, it's gonna be insane.
Listen, the weird theater slash scene kid slash, like weirdo slash theatrical person inside of me is super excited for the shenanigans. Oh my god, presentation. I'm just gonna be like drooling all over the place.
That is the one I'm looking forward to the most. Honestly, among everything else on there, I really cannot wait to see what they pull out of their bag.
Honestly, it's gonna be fantastic. When I saw this matchup, I was just like, all right, who let Guillermo del Toro decide to book wrestling matches now? Because this screams Guillermo del Toro or Tim Burton. I was like, what is happening?
Oh my god, it'll be very fun.
So that is so far, that is all that is announced so far for cause and effect. Like I said, we will personally be back with another progress, post show breakdown Thursday, April 2nd. Well, actually, no. We're going to be reviewing that the 9th because the second's already booked because I got double duty because first we got Mystery Wrestling 23 and then about an hour later, me and Will have Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling's Uprising later that night too.
Just saying, Canadian wrestling is kind of taking precedent that day for some reason. Don't know why.
Because it was booked first.
Mikey, I mean, we could push some of the Fed stuff out of the way and just make room for the good stuff if we wanted to.
Well, I mean, that is a possibility, but also Hell Week also tends to be the biggest time for us. And as much as I'm not excited for the Mania build right now, it does do good numbers for us, unfortunately. So I'm like, I have to feed it somehow. I know, but like I said in our text thread, and kind of give people who are watching like behind the scenes, not only do we have GCW's The Collective and Mania happening, but Mojo Rawley somehow he got money and he announced that there's also going to be another like big wrestling event. And when I saw the promotions that were involved in this shit, I was just like, Mojo, how the fuck do we get this? How the hell did you manage this? Because this is on paper, this is awesome. But I need to know what deals you made because at the Palms, you are going to get TJPW. And I was like, yes, love that. Stardom. I'm like, holy shit. Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. I'm like, god damn. But then for you to grab CMLL to have a show in the States for like the first time ever in this 92 years that this little wrestling promotion in Mexico has been around is fucking wild to me. Holy shit.
Good on him. That Rob Gronkowski money.
I swear, seriously. And I'm like, you know what, Mojo? I'm gonna be watching some of these shows because we cover some of these promotions here. And if you do good, I'm like, you know what, bring it back. There's so much shit happening in April, but you know what? We're gonna be here to review it all. So it's gonna be great. Sorry, I got really excited. It's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. Hell Week is a lot of work for me personally, but honestly, it's a whole hell lot of fun. I'm like, I hardly ever ask the boys for a lot, but I'm like, if you're in the capacity to do so, y'all got to help me out with this one.
Otherwise, Michael would be a dribbling mass in the corner because he just won't have any more words left after a week of complete and utter wrestling.
And normally, like it's not as bad because depending when Mania happens, the last 2 years we've done Hell Week, it's always fallen during my spring break, so it's not like I'm working. That is not the case this year. Mania is not happening during my spring break
because they pushed it back.
And not only that, I got to rearrange the schedule a little bit too and figure out what the fuck we doing because they announced that Mania is now starting at 2:30 p.m. Pacific. And I'm just like, the fuck? We'll talk afterwards because I'm like, but why though? I mean, I'm not mad because then I can have the rest of the evening to myself, but why though?
Why do we want to watch WrestleMania 3?
I mean, that's very fair. I mean, y'all don't have to watch it. I'm going to force our new friends to do it with me. So
well, it's not forced. They only cover the Fed, so that makes sense. Like, what else are they gonna watch?
You leave the elder boys alone. No, I'm just kidding.
I like them. I am very, very happy. They're amazing people. They only cover the Fed. I am not saying that's something that's not a fact. They watch what they watch, and that's what they're gonna do. Is it correct? No, but.
But you know what? I do appreciate both of them because they have been really nice to me and they really love the stuff that we do. And those two plus Nick, the three of us are finding ways to constantly cross-pollinate into each other's stuff.
We need to drag them to watch Mystery Wrestling with us and just convert them is what it is.
I mean, listen, I have drank the Kool-Aid of Mystery Wrestling. And I've made JVL drink the Kool-Aid of Progress Wrestling. can I want to take a moment before we sign off really quickly,
Sure,
right?
sure, sure.
Because I always have a fear recommending promotions to people because I thoroughly enjoy them and I'm biased because I love it. But I'm always afraid that when I recommend it to people, they're not going to like it. And then I have an existential crisis, be like, am I a real wrestling fan? Like, was I wrong? Was I off the mark with this one? I am really happy that you have taken to Progress and you have enjoyed it like as much as I do because like I was so afraid. I was just like because Andrew was the one who indoctrinated me into Progress and I became a huge fan. And then once we figured out, I need in order to balance everything out, I need everyone to at least join one international brand so it's not just me and Andrew doing the independents and the international shows. And
Which makes
everyone kind
sense.
of and everyone stepped up and I was just like you said you would do Progress. So I was like, God, I hope he likes Progress because I like Progress, but I also am scared. I was like, I hope he likes it.
The minute you recommended it to me, I mean, I'd known about it in the background, but here's my level of why I wanted to do it. I watched WCPW when it premiered on YouTube. I was a huge fan of that and got to know British wrestling through WCPW. So when I watched the first one of these, I'm like, oh, yep, I've worn this pair of pants before. I know where I am. Like, the zipper goes up fine. It fits a little weird. I'm a little bit more pudgy than I used to be, but I still love it. And now I'm finding new ways to love it. So you drew me right in here. I was a fan of NXT UK too, which is saying something, and that really wasn't what it was. So I had no qualms about this. Honestly, I was a little bit more taken when I was doing NJPW and Stardom because I was like, I know this, but I don't. And you've been right on the money for it, and I'm just so glad that I added and I indoctrinated you at least into one thing we have versus Andrew who got you into everything.
You know what? I have to give Andrew credit because had he not pushed me, because what started it all was 2 years ago when he's like, "Hey, I like GCW. They have their big show, Homecoming. Would you be interested in watching it?" I was like, "Okay, I know nothing about GCW. I recognize some of the talent that's involved, so why not?" And then from there, it was just a slow spiral into me
Madness.
discovering and loving more independent wrestling.
There you go. And we
But
hope that all of you
honestly,
with us as well have gone on this trip with us. Either you knew Progress ahead of time, or we're making it fun for you. But we're happy you're here with us.
yeah, so we appreciate you all being here for me and JVL covering chapter 191 for the Love of Progress 4. Once again, we will be back in April to be covering chapter 192, Cause and
But
Effect.
but if you wanted to join us, in a couple weeks when we cover Mystery Wrestling 22 or other great independent stuff on here, we go over Stardom and we've got the NJPW coming up. If you don't want to watch the bigger feds, we've got stuff for you all the
We
time.
Yeah, March is slowly going to kick off a lot of the stuff that is happening in the spring because the spring always tends to get really busy for wrestling promotions all over the country and the world. So, to kind of give you some of our stuff. So, of course, outside of our regular reviews, right, of the weekly stuff we do, anyways, let me just give you a preview of like the pay per views and the big shows from all the stuff we're covering. So, of course, I know we said there's more than the Fed out there, but we're doing a special crossover with Elimination Chamber for the review. And also I'm really excited to see Minnie. He's been going through it and I'm really excited to see him again because it's been a while since me and him got to do anything together.
Man,
But
fuck him.
outside of that, we also have a lot of stuff like coming up here in like 3 weeks or 2 weeks. We are going to be covering NJPW's first US show, The New Beginning, happening in New Jersey this
Mm-hmm.
Friday, tomorrow night, which is going to be a lot of fun. There's a little that card. It looks like it's going to bang. Like,
Yeah, it will.
Despy and Kushida versus, Busta in the Brain. I'm God, I'm Bolton Oleg and freaking Ishii is gonna go ham. Shorty and Athena is my match to watch for the whole entire card. That is the match I am most looking forward to. That is gonna be banging. But that's not all. We got a plethora of other stuff. We got NXT's Vengeance Day, like we mentioned. Eve Battle Girl Riot's Wrestle Queendom is also gonna be a part of this. However, we're gonna figure out to watch it. The Cinderella tournament for Stardom is starting very soon. And I am so excited. We also have AEW Revolution coming up here in a little bit. Mystery Wrestling 22, the New Japan Cup for New Japan and JPW. And then, you know what? It's leading into the end of March. We have a 2-night event with Ring of Honor and Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling Global Wars Canada. And then the following night, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling's first pay-per-view show of the year in Uprising. And these 2 nights are going to be bananas because it's Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, CMLL, Pro Wrestling Noah. It's about to go crazy on the international levels. Oh, I'm so excited. And that's just
Oh,
starting it. When we
I'm
get to the
tired
end
from
of
just hearing you talk about it.
no, and then April is a whole clusterfuck of a lot of shit that we're gonna
Yeah,
talk about when we get to closer to it, because it's gonna be good.
indeed, indeed.
But that is going to be it for us here tonight at the Progressive Reviews. Thank you for tuning into our review of this show, as well as being here for our little rants at the end, covering other stuff. But we got to get up on out of here because it's late for JVL, and I got to start editing this thing. But from all of us here at BC WrestlePod to you on home, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story.
We
I
love
will
you.
see you tomorrow for TNA. So until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time,
We love you.
peace.